Alright, so I figured I would do a quick video to show you what we're going to do in lab on Monday with some of the plating techniques. So that way you don't have to spend class time listening to me go over it. You already know what you can do, and so then you'll come into the lab and just get started. I'm not going to go through the dilution series because we've done enough of those practice. That's not the issue. It's just that the plates you're not used to doing. So first thing that I'm going to bring up is that usually what we do when we let our plates cool is to stack them. And I didn't tell you guys that, so if you didn't stack them, that's fine. But the reason why you stack them is because the ones on top are hot while the other ones are hot, so you don't get condensation on the lids. And then the top ones will have a lot of condensation on the lids. And so we're going to kind of break the rules here. I'm going to flip the plate upside down so that the media is on top and completely remove the lid. This keeps the plate safe because it's not open to what's going to fall down on top of it. I'm still going to do it by the flame for the same reasons as before. Then what you do is you flip the lid and you kind of give it a little flick. And give it a flick over here off camera. And so then when you do that, you get rid of a lot of the mistiness that you can't see through. So there are two techniques that we're going to do. The first technique that we're going to do is a spread plate. And so with the spread plate you have to be careful because we're working with the flame and alcohol. My plates, I'm going to use, instead of using bacteria, I'm going to use some blue paint because hopefully then you'll be able to see it more clearly. Not quite sure how it's going to work. We'll see. So I've got my pipetter, and what we're going to do is, again, just like we did on our practice problems, we're going to transfer 100 microliters. So I have my pipetter, and I've got my 100 microliters. I've got my tips. This is where it's really important to pay attention to what you're doing. You have a lot of stuff in your area and an open flame. So you need to be aware of where your hands are in relation to that flame. This is why it's important to keep your lab area clean. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get some paint. Hopefully it's going to be thick enough that you'll be able to see it. And so then, I'm going to clamshell, just like I showed you before. So you're just going to lift the plate. So you'll lift the plate like this enough, and then you'll just kind of, normally when you lift it towards you. It's easier, but you really can't see what I'm doing on the camera then. So I'm going to lift it on this side and be careful of my flame. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in. I'm going to go ahead and drop my 100 microliters, and then I'll close it. So obviously don't do that towards the flame. You'll do it more like this. Put it down and then close it. The important thing is that this lid is never leaving, is always over top of the auger, so it's never leaving the auger exposed. You'll then discard of your pipette tip in the designated beaker that you'll use for trash and contamination. So now what we'll do is, I don't know if you can see it clearly, I don't want it to smear, but I have a drop of what will be my culture, in this case it's paint. You're going to take your glass stirring rod, and it's dipped in alcohol, it's sitting in alcohol, so you're going to want to make sure that it's covered in the alcohol, any part that's going to touch the plate. Then you're just going to pass it through the flame. You're not going to hold it over the flame, you're just going to pass it over the flame. And so what that's going to do is the alcohol helps to sterilize it, the heat helps to sterilize it, so that way we don't have to worry about anything. I don't know if that was on camera, so I'll do it again real quick. This time make sure I keep it on camera. So again, you're just going to pass it through and wait till it goes out. After it goes out, give it about 10 or 20 seconds because you want it to be cool enough. You don't want to kill your bacteria. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to, again, clamshell. I'm going to take my clamshell off so you can clearly see what I'm doing, but you're going to do this while clamshelling. And so while you're clamshelling, you're going to take your plate, leave it on the table. So you'll leave yours on the table while you do this. Again, I'm just doing it so you can see it better. But you want to take your glass plate streaker, and you want to make sure that you move it around. So you'll sit there, it'll be down on the table like this, and you'll spin it as you spread the bacteria in your plate. Since yours won't be blue in color, it's going to be harder to see. But what you do is you just try to spread it around. You want to try to make sure that you get everywhere without getting the edges too much. So that's all you're doing, is just trying to spread a nice even coat over the plate. So it'll look like that. Again, like I said, you'll be doing this while it's clamshelled, so you'll be sitting here doing it like this, you'll spin it, go ahead and do it again. When you're done, your stir rod will go back in the alcohol. You're going to flame it. Wait till the flame goes out. Do not put it in the beaker of alcohol. Wait till it goes out. Once it's out, you'll store it in your alcohol, put the alcohol out of reach. And so then that's your spread plate. Make sure that you label your spread plate, and when it goes into the incubator, it will go in upside down. So here's my lid, here's my culture. It goes with the culture side up. That's so that way, if there's any condensation that forms on the lid, it doesn't drip onto your plate and cause your bacteria to smear. The other thing that we're going to do is referred to as a T streak. And so on our T streak, what you do is you're going to draw a T. So the first line is going to take up less than half of the plate. You don't need a whole bunch up there. And then you're going to, down the center, split it. So you're breaking into thirds, but it's uneven thirds. It looks like the capital letter T, and that's why it's called a T streak. What we're going to do with this, again, you're going to do this while clamshelling. I'm going to take my clamshell off so I can show you what I'm doing. I'm using paint, so at this point, it's probably going to be contaminated.